Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this Sunday morning. And I'd like to share with you, really, for a few minutes, something that I really enjoy doing, and I hope many of you enjoy it as well. And so one of the things I really enjoy is going camping, but particularly to those kind of wild places, those places where nobody else is around, and you can just see for miles, and it's so quiet. So here I am. I've got my tent set up. What else do I need? Let's have a look. Got my sleeping bag. I'll roll that out in a few minutes, especially if I get tired. What else might I have in here? Oh, a bit of food, some sustenance. And do you know, one of the treats, really, of camping is cooking outside. And sometimes when I'm camping with the family or where it's allowed with a group of people, it's great to have a fire. And there's something special about fire. And sometimes, you know, when we're on expedition, we call it jungle TV, because it's captivating. You look at it and you can see the flames dancing around, and there's something special about fire. And it's no surprise, really, that often in the Bible, God is represented or appears where fire is there. And so this morning I thought, well, you know, I can't have a real fire in here. So the next best thing is probably to have my little burner. And one of the treats when camping, and it is a treat, is to toast marshmallows. Now, this is something you could do at home. And what you need then is a heat source, like a candle possibly, or the hob of your kitchen. But do ask permission first, of course. And it works brilliantly, of course, on an open fire if you're able to have one outside. So you need a stick. Here's one I prepared earlier, preferably with a sharp end. A marshmallow that we're going to stick on the end. And there we go. And of course, if we want to be really special with this, we could have some digestive biscuits. Now, my children at home will be shocked when they see what type of biscuits I've got here, because these aren't just ordinary biscuits. These are chocolate-coated biscuits. Okay, and here we've got a chocolate-coated digestive. I'm going to start with two. Can't eat too many because Philip has already said that he needs one, and Tom, I know, is a bit of a sucker for chocolate biscuits as well, I believe. And where's my heat source gone? That's it. And so I'm going to light my fire. This is where Andy gets a little bit worried, just in case I set the church on fire. There we go, first time. So, in order to toast a marshmallow, as you know, we hold it over the flame, and we just need to rotate it slightly. And as we do that, of course, it starts to melt and go crusty around the outside. Look at that. You don't want to catch it too much. Blow it out, put it back on. There we go. Now, of course, I could just eat it like this, but I think a real treat is to sandwich it onto a chocolate biscuit. But there's a bit of a problem. It gets really sticky. So I think the solution is to get another chocolate biscuit, put it on the top, squish it down. Look at that. It's all melting. And I might even have that in a few minutes. Now, it reminds me very much of a story that you may well know. And this is a story of Moses. And this is a man who's in the Old Testament. And he was out camping. Well, do you know what? The Bible doesn't say he was camping. But he was actually herding sheep for his father-in-law. And he was out, and it says, in the wilderness. And he would have been out for a few days. I'm sure he would have camped. And it tells us that while he was out there in the wilderness, he saw a fire. And it wasn't a campfire like this. It was actually a vegetation. It tells us it was a bush on fire. Now, in those places in the world, actually seeing bushes or plants on fire is not really that rare. But there was something weird about this fire. Because although the bush was on fire, it wasn't burning. And it wasn't disappearing. And so Moses went over to have a look. And as he got closer, he realized this was something special. And getting closer still, he heard God speak to him and say, Moses, this is holy ground. Take your shoes off. And so Moses approached very carefully, and God spoke to him. And he said a couple of things. And one thing he said was, look, I know what's going on. He said, I've seen what's happened to all my people in Egypt. I know that they're suffering, and I know that you're worried about it. And he said also, look, I've got a solution. And the solution is I'm going to use you. Now, it got me thinking, really, because we're in a bit of a weird time, aren't we? And many of us think, actually, well, we can't come to church. We're a long way away, maybe from our church families. But here we've got Moses in the wilderness, but actually in quite an ordinary place for him. And God met with him. And do you know what? I think God can meet with us wherever we are in our ordinary place. It might be in our bedroom. It might be at the desk where we're doing our homeschool. It might be in the garden, on the trampoline. But for some of us, it will feel like we're in a wilderness. And it tells us that Moses was right at the foot of Mount Horeb, a big mountain in front of him, a barrier. And for some of us, we might think, actually, do you know what? We are alone. And there's this barrier in front of us. But God meets us in that ordinary place. The second thing is that God said to Moses, look, I can see what's happening. I'm aware of it, and I hear you. And just when we might think we're in the middle of nowhere, or we're in the mundane of what's ordinary, God would say, look, I can see you. I know what's going on. And then just as I had a little problem with my sticky marshmallow, my sticky situation, do you know, I had a solution, which was the top biscuit. And God also had that solution for Moses and his people and said, look, I've got a plan. And I'd really say to you this morning that whatever situation we feel in, God has a plan. And he has a solution, and it might even involve you. So this week, I challenge you, maybe make a marshmallow sandwich. Actually, they're called s'mores, aren't they? And they are kind of Moorish, all right? But as you do that, and as you go through your day-to-day, remember, God can meet with you. He sees you, and he has a solution. Anyway, I think I'm off to bed, and I'll see you a little bit later.